Hi, I'm Matt Wilhelmi. I'm the VP of Consulting Partnerships at Entromy. We are an organizational insights platform and we serve the private equity space. I'm really excited because today I'm joined by Stephen Lavin. Stephen is the managing partner at Fortium Partners. And Stephen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Matthew. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. And so, for this intro video, I wanted to give our viewers just a chance to maybe get to know you a little bit better. Can you please share just a brief overview of your background and maybe experience in private equity?
I've been in the technology business of technology for about a little over 30 years. I was originally raised in New York City, fifth generation food service, but made a switch to technology specifically in 1994, 1995. Currently, I've had lots of leadership positions during that time. Spent the last up until May of 2022, I was the chief technology officer at Redbox. I was with that holding company, Outer Wall, before that for a previous 6 years. Held stints at Abbott Laboratories, Red Sky Technologies, Arthur Andersen, and others.
So I'm curious what types of deals, industries, or even stages of investments have been kind of that primary focus of your career.
Yeah, so specifically to private equity and the industries, it's mostly retail and or product and services directed both to B2B and B2C. So I'd say retail and financial, because a couple of the businesses that we did, for example, was coin to cash and also redemption for funds using tokens or cyber coins. In addition, consumer products and services, such as women's day-to-day wear and also gray market electronics and food and coffee, typical retail as well. Investment stages, were anywhere from range from startup to mature businesses, including distressed and opportunistic ones.
What do you consider to be maybe your area of expertise when it comes to private equity transactions?
Definitely technologies. I think with the higher level expertise or really a skill set, I've been trained and learned to be super objective. So I don't bring a lot of baggage or ego with me to some of these deals. But I'm a huge fan of active listening. To answer your question a little bit more, I have a keen ability to stay broadly focused but tactically cognizant on whatever that mission may be. And it really doesn't matter whether it's private equity or other business related to technologies or enabling technologies, because at any given time, we may have to change, pivot, or transform on a moment's notice. I have a ton of pride in bringing skills and experience in being able to fund this change or transformation from within as much as possible. And this usually entails making hard decisions or collaborating on those decisions of not doing some things in favor of other things or stopping some things and driving towards a new investment. Making the chief financial officer also my best friend. Very often these things will take but you'd be amazed at how much optimization efficiency can be drawn out of an existing organization in order to increase margin at the top or the bottom.
So your answer partially answered this question, but I wanted to give you a chance to maybe dive a little deeper, which is how has this experience of yours shaped your approach to evaluating and driving value in deals?
Well, look, we really need to understand, I think, either at the portfolio level, or the fund, or the deal itself, what the overarching thesis is. And obviously it's going to be different likely for different businesses, unless it's a niche private equity organization that just might be food and beverage, right? Or just might be retail in a specific niche. But if it's a more broad focused fund or balance, we have to understand why we're doing this, right? And it's really working tightly with a high performance team. It's the deal team, but it's also the management and the operations team in the business. So if I think about this, let's just make it one Portco, for example. I like to make it fun. I like to gamify this, if you will, but you don't get endless redos, right? Like typically if you play a game and, you get shot, you get to spawn and do it again. Well, you only get so many bites at the apple, right? In the business game. I really concentrate on people, process, and technology, ferret out opportunities, inefficiencies and optimizations, which we spoke about a couple of minutes ago. And look, these might be in people, process, and technologies. It's a classic, triangle in thinking about tech, legacy, and modern for for a business in a deal. And this is really looking to do more to serve the business, right? Or whatever that underlying thesis is. And it might be, having to think about doing more with less or do more with more, right? If there's an opportunity for investment, being willing to test and learn is huge, and to be able to exploit and prove up good risks. There are bad risks, right? And there are also good risks, and there are opportunities. You need to be able to get above the board, if you will, almost like in a chess game, and be able to think about those pieces and the moves that you may make and how it may impact other functional parts of the business, or not just technology, right? As a leader in this, you really need to look, I think, at everything. And you got to align tightly, if nothing else, with the chief executive officer and make sure that they're aligned with the PE operators in the deal, right? But if you're in role, and you're certainly in the business as a management team, keeping your eye on and staying close to the CEO is critical. And those are sort of the things that have shaped how I think about deals forward, and the experiences that I've had as a chief information and a chief technology officer in the past. You've got to look for value anywhere you can in these deals. Obviously, there are opportunities and there are disciplines in whatever that thesis may be related to, whether it's a specific market or its opportunity. I'll leave it at that.
So, Stephen, it sounds like from what you said that you understand some of the critical factors that your expertise and experience aligns with. Can you maybe share an example of a deal? We want to keep it anonymous, where some of these factors with your experience and with your knowledge on the industry really played a critical role?
Yeah, sure. So we had an opportunity to divest a whole large holding company into 3 discrete businesses. And there were 13 others that we either mothballed or closed or sold. But in those businesses, all of them shared master services and also agreements for licensing, whether it be something like SAP or something similar. And this was a $2.5 billion organization that had seen a downturn to about $1.6 billion. And in that process, had to split out technology organizations, infrastructures, the whole 9 yards. And the margins in these businesses were different. And, they really couldn't consume some of the technologies that they did when they were all together. So being able to understand the speed to market that was different for these, as well as understanding their needs in regards to the breadth and depth of some platforms that are available as a service, or also software as a service, all had to come under scrutiny. And you had to right size, if you would. It's kind of an 80s term, but it's true. You had to right size the consumption of these technologies to the business and not overburden them with a cost structure, or with beyond the capital. And every year you're going to be paying at least 30% operationally year over year after that, right? And at the time, deals were done, or contracts were done in 3 to 5 years. Well, that had to go the way of the dodo, and all the businesses had to be much more live. And although it may have been marginally, or from a unit cost, a little more expensive, it gave up a tremendous amount of flexibility to the positive for the businesses. So staying at a very high level, eating the expense or exceeding the expense ratios in technology to the balance of the business was really critical. And look, nobody really knew what that would be, but we knew what it can't be. Right? When we thought about what the EBITDA needs of the business were, what that return on capital would have been over time, it was something that all of us had to be in tune with at the management or at the service layers, and understand how to maximize all of that change. And we had TSAs. And we had a year to pay into one of those from all of the 3 companies, and we were able to get them all off in 7 months. And that was critical, because that was, we saved ultimately 4.5 to 5 months of additional expense into those transitional service agreements that went away. So you got to move fast. It's just one of those things. And so we did it as fast as we could. A lot of sleepless nights, no vacations. Nobody was allowed to get sick. You just plow through it and you get it done.
So, Stephen, I want to shift a little bit and talk about this private equity panel that you and I are going to be joining here. And I want to understand, from your perspective, what excites you the most about participating in this panel? And then also, what kind of unique perspectives do you hope to bring to the discussions?
I love that question. So, I find contrasting views from different areas of functional expertise pretty fascinating and also enriching. And, typically you need to have those, right? If you're going to be part of a high performance team, whether you're, again, approaching a deal or a fund or whatever it might be, you all have to be, kind of tied at the waist. And I mean, it's an overused phrase of, it's like climbing a mountain, but it's very true. I mean, you have to have all your tools in place. And I find that people that operate at that level, like those that you're asking to join on the panel, are invaluable at doing the things that need to be done. And for me specifically, it's to really to excel in the technology domains. I need to have an understanding, an enriched and a full understanding of the business, the deal, and its thesis, the market that we're in, the known risks, both good and bad, as well as the excitement of those that we'll surely encounter, right, in terms of those risks. And you get this kind of experience through these discussions of things that you can't believe happened or things that you expected to happen, right? You never stop learning. So that's really why I enjoy this quite a bit. Deal teams operate at a very high level. Everyone's mutually dependent on one another's success, which is critical, or they should be anyway. And knowing what that success looks like and maintaining that focus, whether individually or as a team, is critical. And frankly, I find that the most fun. And so I'm sure that in our panel and some of the topics that we're going to research and also talk about, that this kind of stuff is going to come through. For me, I bring business viewpoints and match the best technologies people and the process together. I build teams essentially to enable the plans and meet or exceed alpha at the portco or the fund levels and grow people along the way. So I certainly hope that I can add some value in that regard and participate with this group. I'm not sure how else to respond to that other than that.
Well, I think that you're going to bring a very interesting and unique perspective. I'm curious if there are any specific trends or challenges in the private equity landscape that you're particularly passionate about addressing.
Yeah, I think they're all, look, there's a hype cycle to this, right? To all of it. But there's no doubt in my mind that artificial intelligence and determining best use cases matched to the value creation plan for any given deal or opportunity and how to lever that or those best in optimization of those efficiencies that I talked about are going to be critical. No two ways about it. Not every business, there's going to be a point in time where this is almost like a fourth wheel, right? In the business it is a lot like another flavor, depending on the function in the business, of marketing, enabling marketing opportunities, personalization, automation. It changes over time, and this is really the evolution. And I don't mean, just not large language models like people using Copilot and drafting documents or contracts or agreements, but probably, and I believe much more importantly, in agentic and agent to agent opportunities. And these are autonomous, workflows and, compute containers, if you will, that have intelligence that are going to get portions of your work done. And then they're going to communicate with other agents, right? Almost like we have with, phone to phone or email to email. I'm not that concerned about people being displaced forever or this all becoming a robotic, process in some way. I think all these technologies are going to make people that are involved superhuman, if you will, and they're going to make us much more optimized and efficient. Two of my favorite words, as you can tell. I think also uncertainty in the global marketplace and what's going to be happening in 2025, 2026. There's a whole new game. There's a whole new chief in town, so to speak. And it's going to be hard to see and foresee what changes will take place and how we're going to think about governance on that front. And that takes me sort of to any change in regulations, right, that businesses have to pay attention to, whether public or private, and compliance with those regulations. Always with something like this, it's a new playing field, if you will, and you can't take anything for granted. I mean, some businesses probably true, but I think, at a very high level, these are the things that will be challenges, and there'll be also opportunities in this. Right.
So, Stephen, kind of thinking, ahead, and you did a great job of talking about the trends and some of the things that you're seeing in the future. How are you and the folks at Fortium Partners positioning yourself to kind of navigate some of these changes as we move forward?
Yeah, great question. So, all of us, well, the good news is all of us at Fortium in the partner realms, whether they be CIOs, CTOs, or CISOs, or better known as Chief Information Security Officers, have been there and done that, meaning the kinds of things that we see in the marketplace. Now, even the things that are new, we keep and maintain ourselves tooled and educated and informed. We are in the marketplace all the time, and we are leveraging these technologies and using them to enable the business to meet the strategies best, both short and long term, right? Being tactical and also strategic, because in a situation like this, you got to be able to play anywhere along the horizon or the value creation plan. You've got to think about being able to work with and build a strategy, make sure that the business or the team has the tactical capacity to then execute on whatever those opportunities or those plans are. It's critical stuff. And there isn't much more to be said, I think, other than that in terms of Fortium. But we can come in and help our clients with that. And we're in all industries as well. So it's not just my experience in retail and automated retail, but we really run the gamut. Everybody is coming from either fintech, insurtech, aerospace, defense, automotive, motor city type of work, as well as healthcare and manufacturing, logistics and distribution, products and services, B2B, B2C. There are people in our firm that have worked at some of the biggest brands in the country, but also focus with a mid-market and a lower mid-market focus, which is huge. We're in those realms that are in play. We have a number of private equity clients that are recurring and that we work with all the time, and we meet with new ones every week, just about. And we can really help determine and bring value to a business through technology. And that might be refactoring or transforming existing legacy technologies towards something new. It might be a proliferation of tools or a proliferation of data that requires some refinement and higher fidelity. There is very often reuse and multiple overuse with different applications, when the reality is you could probably get away with doing more with just a couple of those instead of all of them. It all comes down to building and maintaining a well-oiled machine that matches and meets the mission and the vision. And all of us have had good experience with that. I'll stop there.
Well, Stephen, I wanted to say thank you for your time, and thank you for offering your time to be a panelist. I'm really excited to see how this evolves and some of the topics and the details we get into as things unfold. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it as well, Matthew. Thank you.